Mike came in a meeting one time. This is like a true story. He came in a meeting one time and said, "Hey, I just want to make an announcement. I'm not listening to no white coaches today."
You know, this is one of the most valuable things that Beau Allen does. He's not just great on the mic. He books great guests. And today we have one of my favorite players that I watch tape on, a magician with the hands, all-pro, Pro Bowler, newly retired, Gerald McCoy. Gerald, how is life on the other side, bro?
You know what? First off, thank you for having me, Broseph Allen, Christopher. Let me give a few flowers. Beau is definitely, I have a short list of phenomenal teammates I had. I ran into a lot of people over time, but I don't keep in contact with everybody, but Beau is one of them. So, Beau, I love you.
One of a kind.
I love you too, G. It's always a pleasure to see your face, man.
And then, Christopher, let me give you your flowers. I have a lot of different, like, imprinted moments in my career where I took motivation and push to be like that or take something from certain people because I'm from Oklahoma. We don't even have a professional team. So our professional team was OU, you know, and then you just kind of gravitate towards the Cowboys because they're the closest. Well, I grew up loving the Bucs, but as I started like seeing more and more football, you know, I started discovering the combine and all this. So I was in college. I remember your combine performance. And then I had never seen, I mean, we had some athletic white dudes, but I was like, and this dude was like, he's like, you and Roderick Bunkley, I think his name was.
Yeah, Bunkley.
Bunkley went to Florida State.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah, you two like are the first two like real combine workouts that I was like, all right, that's dope. I mean, both being D linemen. I mean, Adrian Peterson went. You gonna watch him because he went to my school, but your combine workout and then your 2013 season, for sure.
Yeah, we played you in 13.
Yeah, very phenomenal. Like those are like implanted thoughts in my career. So giving out flowers and first, and then to answer your question, I kid you not, I announced my retirement on Friday. I was in New York filming a TV show, the Carton Show on FS1. I got on the plane, came home. My wife was like, "Hey, the kids are hungry." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, I've been out working. I don't even get to come home. Just go get food." All right, cool. Anyway, so I go do that, and then my daughter, she's a basketball player, so I was like, you know, she had a tournament this weekend. I said, "Let's go to the gym, get some shots up." I kid you not. I get to the gym. I had just announced my retirement Friday. The day before, I worked out just fine. I get to the gym, my back locks up, my legs are not working. It's like my body knew immediately, like, yeah, that's it.
It's time. I'm giving up on it. Hey, well, Gerald, welcome to the Washed Up Athletes Club.
Hey, first off, it's fucking true, dude. My voice doesn't work because I went to a bachelor party this weekend. So nothing works anymore for me. My back, my legs, my voice. Yeah, just wait, dude. It gets worse.
Oh, I'm sitting here like, somebody just told me that this morning. I'm like, man, heck no. Like, I can't allow it. Like, I worked out this morning, and my run this morning has been the hardest run I've had over the last 2 weeks. I'm like, what the heck just happened to me?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like once the switch flips. Yo, I wanted to ask you this, like, you know, you've been out for a couple years kind of, and I wondered, you know, because injuries are the only thing that slowed you down. I mean, you could have played 20 years of, you know, at your pace. And I wonder if there was a time when you kind of were battling with the notion that, like, I don't have a choice here. You know, like the choice is kind of being made for me. And what went into that decision? And was there a moment on the field where you were like, yeah, this is just, I'm not what I was?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was, well, because going into, after I left Carolina, I had like some tendonitis in my knee.
Yeah.
And we all been vets, you know, you just do everything to get to Sunday. So I wouldn't practice on Wednesday, do third down blitz period on Thursday, and then do fast Friday. And I played all 16.
Yeah.
When I got ready to sign with the Cowboys, I did a physical, and Dr. Cooper, who actually ended up doing both my knee surgeries, he said, you do know your quad tendon is half torn. And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. They told me it was tendonitis. It's like, nah, it's about to fall off. And I was like, at some point, this is going to go.
Yeah.
You know, so you do your best to try and get through the season, but it's going to happen. You know, so I was like, this was the pandemic. You know, so I'm training all pandemic. Like nothing happened. Still squatting heavy, doing whatever. Get to the Cowboys. We got to do that 2-week acclimation period. Just fine. First 2 practices, just fine. Random step on the 3rd practice, and it just goes.
Yeah.
And that to me was just like, okay, I had just played all 16.
Right.
You know, so I was like, all right, it's an injury. I'll shake back. I trained, rehabbed really well, went to work out with the Raiders, signed on, had a great training camp. When I went out and I didn't play a lot on an opening day, I got a couple reps. And I sat really the whole second half until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Played 2 reps, and then that 3rd rep, I was just running.
Yeah.
Lamar was running. He was sitting there in the pocket, and I was just running towards him, and my leg just gave out. I sat up on the field. I knew what it was. And it was almost like, because I had been through it before, it didn't even hurt.
Yeah.
I just couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I tore my quad tendon again, but it was the opposite leg. And I sat up and I looked around, the doctors were like, what happened? What happened? I was like, yeah, I tore my quad tendon. And they was like, oh man. I was like, hey, don't rush. Just let me sit here for a second. Because at that moment, I said to myself, okay, that's it. You know, you just had a knee injury last year. You just had an opposite leg knee injury this year. That's it. But as that season went on, I said, you know what? Because of the type of competitor I am, type of man I am, I done been through worse. So I'm not going to let an injury keep me from at least playing another snap, at least getting into another locker room, sitting in another meeting again. But as the season went on and my knees were still kind of bothering me a little bit, and I was like, okay, let me get to a certain point to where I can go at least do a workout.
Yeah.
I got to about mid-season last year, and I said, okay, I'm going to give myself until the end of the season, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And it was tough for me because, like you said, injuries is what stopped me not being good enough.
Yeah.
And that was hard to accept. But then I had to realize, man, you did so much up to that point.
Yeah.
That it's okay if you're done.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like people are going to know it was injuries. It wasn't your play. Yep. And that just was hard for me because I thought with everything I did with preparation, on and off the field, training like a madman, always staying in shape, showing up to training camp, giving everything I had, I did it the right way.
Yeah.
So for injuries to happen to me, it was hard for me to accept because I've seen a lot of people who don't give this game everything they have and they be just fine.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to accept that.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was like, all right, cool, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, but that was tough for me. So I say probably at the end of last season, I kind of was finally like, all right, that's it. I'm just, you know.
Who was a team that, you know, last year you were sitting around and you were like, if I had my pick, this is what was in my sights?
Honestly, it was just the Bucs. Like
Yeah.
I always wanted to go back to the Bucs, just because I grew up a fan of the Bucs. They drafted me, and I had familiarity with them.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound crazy, but the other team was Kansas City. Not because it was Kansas City, but Joe Cullen, the D-line coach I was closest to,
yep.
he coached there.
Yep.
So I wanted to go somewhere with familiarity. Marinelli had retired, so.
Yeah.
Joe Cullen was really the only coach still coaching that I had was closest to. So I was like, you know what? I would love to go there just to play under Joe, even if I don't play.
Yeah.
Just sit in Joe's meetings and be a mentor. I even told Tampa, hey, listen, I don't have to play. I just want to be a mentor because y'all doing a lot of wrong up front.
Yeah.
Y'all have talent and y'all not rushing together.
Yeah.
Guys are not getting on edges. They're just running down the middle of people. It's just bull, 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 and nut. And I've seen a lot of things that I could help with, just teaching guys, okay, this is how you rush together.
Yeah.
And I told them, hey, listen, I don't have to play. You ain't got to, even if I'm on practice squad, I'm still sitting in the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have enough pride. I always told myself, don't have enough pride in what you were that you can't accept who you are now. And I was okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, but it didn't happen, and it was okay. I just helped from afar, text guys here and there. Hey, try this, do this, and this. And, that was it. But really, it was Tampa. Like, it was familiarity. And it was, I still got a house there. So
that's a similar story for me there, G, because, I had a quad tendon injury as well when I was in New England in 2020. And then I'm down here in Tampa. I have a house in Tampa. I'm spending time in Tampa, podcasting from Tampa. So that was kind of similar for me. You stay in touch with those guys, Vita and Nacho and the rest of the gang. But I got a little bit of a story for you, followed by a question while we're talking about the Bucs. Mm-hmm. So 2020, like I said, doing a lot of the same rehab stuff you're familiar with, quad tendon injury, same shit, quad, blah, blah, blah. I want to know what you were doing when the Bucs won the Super Bowl in 2020. And if it was anything like what I was doing. I was at a bar on Soho in South Tampa.
You were in Tampa. That's
in Tampa. Watching
oh my gosh.
And I was at a bar watching it like a regular Joe. And all of a sudden I realized about halfway through the game that these motherfuckers about to win the Super Bowl without me while I'm on IR, proceed to just get blackout drunk and throw open my Uber on the way home. My Uber rating is still like a 3.5, hasn't recovered since. I like to imagine you kind of had a similar experience watching all your boys in Tampa win the Super Bowl without you.
Mine was a little different. See, yours is I have a little less sympathy for you because you're 2 years removed from winning a Super Bowl, contributing and actually like doing the quote unquote impossible, which it wasn't impossible. It's not like your team wasn't good, but whatever. So I really don't feel bad for you. So screw you and your story. But honestly, you know what? At first, and when they played Green Bay, and this is the God's honest truth, I didn't have them beating Green Bay. I just didn't. Yeah. You go into the frozen tundra, you playing Green Bay. They're hot as heck right now. Mm-hmm. I just didn't see them going up to Green Bay, beating them. And then in the second half, when Tom was throwing those interceptions, I'm like, this is not going to happen. But when they beat Green Bay, this is documented. All the interviews after that, I said Tampa's going to win by double digits in the Super Bowl. This was prior to the game. Kansas City didn't have any offensive linemen. I said, with that rush front, they're not going to be able to stop them. They're not beating Tampa. Yeah. So I prepared mentally for Tampa winning Super Bowl prior to. Yeah. So as it's happening and they're like destroying these guys, I'm actually working out. This is a God's honest truth. I'm still rehabbing my knee. I have a Peloton in my room. I'm on my Peloton, like watching the game, like
harder.
Cycling away. Mm-hmm. I'm like doing bands, push-ups, core, all this stuff as I'm watching the game. And I'm really like in the back of my mind thinking like, man, my boys is really about to win the Super Bowl. It was more surreal for me because I've seen like dark days in Tampa. Yeah. Yes. So to see them like literally being the best team in the NFL at this point was like, they really are winning the Super Bowl. Yeah. And it was happening at home. So I was really more excited. And the reason I FaceTime now, I asked Tay, if you guys win, please FaceTime me. Yeah. Because I needed to see somebody who's been there with me that's seen those dark times. I mean, I'm talking about we had the Mercer instance situation.
The hurricane.
Yeah, guys' feet falling off, like just getting sued, and it was bad, man. Like it was bad. So to see that I FaceTime Tay and he waited. Like he did it the wrong way. Like he FaceTimed me when the locker room was empty. It was just him in there. I'm like, oh, I missed the whole celebration.
You wanted to steal some of that juice.
Yeah, but he was in there. He was just like, gee, I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, I can't either. You made me miss the whole celebration, but whatever.
Well, first off, you're not a hater, which is why your story was different than Beau's.
Oh, Gerald is a hater though, Chris. He's on the right pod, brother.
Secondly,
Chris, you have no idea.
Big hater.
Really? Yeah.
I have a master's degree in hating.
Hate.
Just not in this instance.
Yes. I was trying to get him hating, but he didn't bite.
Second thing is my Uber score is like a 4, and I never puked in an Uber. So, I mean, I don't know what happened to my score, but the other thing I wanted to ask you was, how the hell do you become a Bucs fan growing up in Oklahoma? Was it that Super Bowl run?
It was more than that.
Warren Sapp. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we have our beef,
you do.
We have a running beef right now.
Oh, really? About what?
Yeah. He disrespect. Okay. Let me ask you a question, and I'm gonna give you guys the background on this, because y'all my boys and y'all can post this. I don't care, because I publicly said if I see him, then I'm gonna say the same thing.
It is what it is.
I'm past being like civil. My favorite player growing up was Tommy Harris, who went to OU, drafted to the Bears. So I watched him. I didn't have a favorite like NFL player. Like you have your Barry Sanderses, your all them. The first D lineman I really knew about was Leon Lett, because he played for the Cowboys. So I wore 78 in Little League. I switched over to 99 once I discovered Warren Sapp.
Right.
He alone made me a Bucs fan. Then I started playing with them on Madden. I started discovering Ronde and Derek Brooks and John Lynch and Mike Allstott. Then NFL Blitz came out, and it was like,
what a game.
So that's how I developed my love for the Bucs. And then just so happened they went on this run, went to the Super Bowl, and they won it. So I was like, dang, this is my team. So I just stuck with them. Fast forward, I get drafted there. And so it was like, dang, my team growing up as a kid, I got drafted to. First Buccaneer, former player I spoke with was Warren Sapp. Right. He came that week. We first had OTAs that first week. He came, we went outside, did some one-on-ones. He walked me through some stuff, taught me some stuff. He said, we're going to keep this going. As your career goes, you got any questions, this, and this. It was fine. Here's where it went left. Me and Sapp became more than just a mentor and somebody I could ask questions to. Sapp's been in my house. He's met all my kids. He's met my wife, met my dad. I picked him up. He was supposed to go, train some kids. He called me, hey, I got to go train these kids. You give me a ride. Let's go down here and work these kids. Bet, let's go. Like, we talk every week. I'm sending him film. We breaking down it. Like, we became like actual friends.
Yeah.
There was something that happened between us that, because I'm a solid person, I will not mention. Yeah. But there was something that happened between us that really put me to a point to where I was like, okay, we are at this level now. Yeah. So since I know we're here because of that situation, all right, this is my guy forever. Yeah. As soon as I left Tampa and I went on Undisputed, and Shannon Sharp and Skip asked me about them giving my number to Sue. And my thing was, there's only 2 people in Buccaneers history who had more consecutive Pro Bowls, all right? The All-Pros, all of that. You can say whatever you want about the Super Bowl era and the Bucs defense that is, I still believe, top 2-3 defense in history, that Bucs group. But other than that, the accolades are there. Yeah. So for me to just leave, what the Bucs didn't do is, when I left, whether we parted ways or not, there was no post of thank you, goodbye. Man, they just get, what's this kicker name, Bo, y'all had? The one that kicked during the Super Bowl.
Matt Gay, maybe? Or no, who was it?
No,
Suck Up.
Carlos Santos?
No,
who was it?
Was it Suck Up?
Yes, him. Yes. He left, didn't re-sign with the Bucs, and they gave him a farewell post.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, boy.
I think I got a farewell post, Jim.
Bro, they got
Ryan. Allen, thank you so much.
They gave Ryan Suckup a farewell post, like, thank you for everything.
Right.
When I left, I got nothing. Yeah. No, appreciate you, Gerald. No, none of that. And for all you fans who are going to say, gee, they did post you. No, they didn't. I called them and asked them. I said, so I didn't mean nothing? Like nothing?
Who'd you call?
Yeah. I can't tell you that, but I did make a phone call.
He called up Jason Light.
Yeah.
And I said, so I leave. One, y'all just said, F me, here, this is the number he's getting. This is what he wants, so we're going to give it to him. There's no like, okay, let's give it a year. No, we're not giving that number out right now. Let's just wait. And a lot of people thought it was my beef with Sue.
Yeah.
Let me kill this once and for all. Me and Sue don't have a beef. The media created this. When I see Ndamukong Suh, we have a great time.
Yeah.
When we went to the Lombardi Trophy ceremony, me, Sue, his sister, and my sister all went and played pool after the ceremony. Yeah. Like, this has been my guy since college.
Yeah.
They created this beef we had. We made an agreement when we got drafted. He called me, I called him. I said, hey, we're here now. The 2010 class of D tackle, let's take over the league.
Yeah.
Myself, Geno Atkins, and Sue are the top 3 defensive tackles in that class.
And great
now you have your Linval Josephs, of course.
Yeah.
Amongst a couple other guys. But like, I feel like for that 10-year span, we accomplished it.
Yeah.
So I don't have no beef with Sue. It wasn't about him. It was about the lack of respect that I got from the Bucs.
Yeah.
When internally, and Bo will tell you, they know what I was past the football player.
Yeah.
The social justice initiative, D-Line Does Christmas, the Vision Mobile, all the community stuff.
Yeah.
I was all of that. We
a lot of those initiatives are still running today, by the way.
Yes. We didn't have no Pepsi athletes. None.
Yeah.
I was the one.
Yeah.
When we had a Monday Night Football representative, I was the one.
Yeah.
It was all of these things where I did over the years that were unsaid that we just did. Gerald, we need you to say this. Gerald, we need you to do that. All the bullets I took.
Yeah.
I would know that certain players didn't play a certain way. But what would I do? Get in the media, defend them. And then as soon as the media was over with, they pulled me aside. Gerald, thank you for saying that. Man, this, and this. I'm like, you think I'm letting, because a couple fans are upset with me or bad mouth me, that I'm going, no, these are my boys.
Yeah.
We going to practice together. We are in training camp together. Bo knows this is like how I've always been.
Yeah.
I went to, Bo will tell you, there was a time where I almost had to fight a D-line coach.
I was waiting for this to come up. You brought it up, not me, bro.
I almost had to fight a D-line coach over a game that I didn't even play in. I didn't even play in.
How does that happen? Wait, how does that happen?
I'll tell you how it happens, Chris. We walk in the D-line room and all the chairs and tables are pushed to the side.
Side. First off,
we're all kind of looking at each other like,
we were in the day before, we were in the locker room talking about certain situation. Somebody overheard. They went and said something to the coach.
Yep.
The coach comes. I left that day. The coach comes to the training room. Where's Gerald? I need to see him. I didn't know this happened because I was gone. I get a phone call.
He needs to come find me. He needs to come find me. Gerald, you're not that hard to find, man.
Right. And I was like, hey, man, so-and-so looking for you. I'm like, okay, he can call me. So I always went and got like coffee right before the meeting. So I was always like one of the last ones coming to meeting, whatever. I walk in and I open the door and the tables are cleared out. The chairs are cleared out. And I look around and everybody's silent.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm goofy. So I say whatever I feel like. I'm like, the heck is y'all problem? What happened? Mm-hmm. And it's like the most awkward thing. And then it just went left. And I'm sitting here confused, like, how did I get in it?
Yeah.
Why are you mad at me? I didn't even play.
Did not play.
I was just sitting there munching popcorn, bro. I was waiting for.
And I'm like, wait. How did I even get in this? I was just sitting, and then with the situation he was even referring to, I was just over there. Yeah. But because I'm the loudest, because it's me, I got blamed for it. And I had to tell, bro, I ain't had nothing to do with it. But since we here, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I stood up for my guys. And I'm looking around like, y'all not gonna say how y'all felt? F it, I say it, whatever. Yeah. Because that's just how I always been.
And he probably felt threatened by you too.
Yeah, I'll take the.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. This was an individual that was always commenting on Gerald's chain. I see that chain you're rocking right now.
Yeah.
On Gerald's shoes. Put up old Facebook posts from back in 2006 and putting them up in the projector during meetings.
I'll take the bullets. That don't concern me. This is football, man. Listen, let's be real. We're in a controlled climate. We're in a professional setting. If it goes left, it just goes left. But how many times has it really went left? We have very few stories where it really. So I'm like, man, listen, fans are going to be fans. Coaches are going to be coaches. As long as we have one common goal, and that's to win, I don't mind taking the bullets because it's like, okay, after everything's being said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So knowing this is how I've always been in the inside of Tampa, knowing this is how I always was, for me to leave and to be like looked at and treated that way, all because I made a business decision. Let me clear something else up. I did not care about playing Tampa when I went to Carolina. Yeah. I went to Carolina because I didn't want to be far away from my family.
Right.
It was a layover. It was a far flight plus a layover to get to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I knew that was the first time I have ever been away from my family.
Yeah.
So I had to make a decision. Where is the closest team? Here's who I was being offered by. I had 15 teams call me after I left Tampa, but only 4 or 5 were really talking how I want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Atlanta was one of them. Not happening.
Yeah.
Atlanta didn't have what I was looking for. Okay. You had Cleveland. Yes, they had Odell. They had just got Odell. They had Baker. They had all these people, but they had Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good call.
All right. Okay. There you go. You had Cincinnati. This is
not yet.
Pre Joe Burrow.
Yeah, not yet.
No, not happening. I went to visit Baltimore. Baltimore was where I was going.
Yeah.
On my way home from Baltimore, Carolina called me. And they was like, hey, listen, we can do this, this, and this. Screw it. I'll go see. I went on my visit. I loved it. So I started gauging, okay, what's what? This is pre-MVP Lamar. Mm-hmm. I said, you have an MVP in Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. You have Christian McCaffrey at running back.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Defensively, Luke Kuechly was still there. Yep. You had all of these people in place. K'Wan Short was still there.
Yep.
Who else was still there?
Brian Burns.
Brian Burns was a rookie.
Yep.
I'm drawing
Bradbury, James Bradbury.
Yes, we had a great group. Okay, yeah. I'm drawing a blank. Got hit in the head a lot.
Yeah,
we had a great group. Okay. So I gauged everything. I said, how does this weigh out? Defensively, I was taking Carolina.
Yeah.
At quarterback is where it came down to. Do I want a young guy in Lamar Jackson that is, we don't know what we're going to get, or a proven quarterback in Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Then I started saying, okay, what about flights? My wife and I sat down and said, okay, what's the travel time to get to Baltimore versus Carolina? Carolina was so close. After meetings on Mondays, I flew back to Tampa. Mm-hmm. And I would fly home on Tuesday night so I could be in meetings Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
That's how close it was. It was an easy flight.
Yeah.
Then the money, for people that think I took money, Baltimore offered me more than Carolina.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about the money.
Yeah.
So for all you fans that think I turned my back on Tampa, I went to Carolina because I love my family. You losers.
They don't love their families. These people don't love their families.
I love my wife and kids. I went to Carolina because I didn't want to be far away from my family. It had nothing to do with the Bucs.
Yeah.
I said that in multiple interviews.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about playing Bucs twice? I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just on the schedule. I don't care.
People don't understand the business side of it.
Like, I don't, because I've always been this way. Any school I went to, my high school, my college, any team I'm on, I rep to the fullest. Look at all my tweets. Until I retired, I talked about the Raiders. When I was tied to the Raiders, I tweet about the Raiders nonstop.
Yeah.
With the Bucs, that's my favorite team. I'm going to tweet about them nonstop.
Yeah.
When I was with Carolina, I still root for Carolina. I still talk about the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. When I went to Carolina, people still give me hell because I ran on the field and said I'm home. I was. That's the team I'm playing
currently,
for.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking? Like, these fans, they kill me. And it's like all that I did for Tampa. Why do y'all think that I'm so bitter that I said, you know what? I'm going to go to a team and have to play Tampa twice, and that's going to be my revenge. You simple-minded people. That kills me.
But that's not what Warren Sapp was mad about. I want you to tell me what he got mad about.
Sapp, this is what happened with Sapp. I said something about my number. He goes on an interview and says he can't say that. He's not one of us. What has he done here in Tampa to warrant him feeling like he should get anything here? That was what he said.
So you felt like at the moment you were out of there, instead of handling it personally with you, talking to you, Sapp just kind of publicly put it on you the moment he got the chance.
Here's who he is. He's an opportunist. Okay. This is the same guy who tweeted a picture of Cam Hayward and said, who is this guy? Like, You mean to tell me you a defensive tackle and you don't know who Cam Hayward is? Like, this is the type of person we dealing with.
Yeah.
I've seen him disrespect people in such a manner, like in person, where I'm like, dog, you really got a problem. And I'm just like, well, shoot, he didn't do me like that, but hey, we cool. I always say, if a person show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
Okay. Once he did that, here's what you guys, here's why I say, stop believing because a person plays the game well that they're like tough guys.
Right.
A person being aggressive on the field or playing football aggressively does not make them tough.
Yeah. I
don't care how much you talk or do what you do or whatever, that does not make you tough. At some point, you have to be a man for real. Here's you guys' GOAT or you guys' legend. Here's reality of who he is. When that happened, I called him multiple times. He didn't pick up the phone. I sent him a text. He did not respond. I said, we can handle this however you want to handle this, but be a man and pick up the phone. He did not. You know when he responded to me? When he knew he was going to have to see me in London. He texted me a one-liner, I told you how I felt about certain things. That's what he said to me. I got on Twitter recently and said, hey, there's a lot of you guys as legends that's not as tough as you think. When it comes to being an actual man, I'm telling you now, he's going to see this post. If he is who he says he is, he will respond to this.
Yeah.
I'm not telling him to respond publicly. He has my phone number.
Yeah.
I've seen Warren Sapp multiple times at Bucs games.
Yeah.
I was at the Tampa games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's been there. I've been there. None of this was happening. So, like, this is not about being tough. It's about being a man.
Yeah.
I feel disrespected because he knows what took place between me and him. He could have called me and said that to me privately.
Yeah.
To go in the media and say that, you're an opportunist and you show me who you were. The one thing I don't tolerate is disrespect. You can say anything you want about me, but when you blatantly disrespect me, when you've been around my kids, been around my family, this, and this, and then you go up publicly and say that about me, and then when I call you about it, you like shy away and don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got to stop believing like everything that just because a person says and does things a certain way on the field. I never disrespect who he was on the grass. You can't.
Well, he's also wrong about you. Like you've got what six Pro Bowls. I mean, like you look at a list of all-time Bucs and accolades, like you're right at the top with Derek Brooks and Ronde and those guys and Warren. You were the face of the franchise. You know, you talked about all the things you did while you were there. Like when I thought about the Bucs during my playing career, I thought about you. Mm-hmm. You know, and so he's wrong. I mean, he's just wrong.
And that's the thing. I appreciate that. It wasn't about whether I believe he was right or wrong.
Yeah, but like, for you, it's be a man. Like, you know, we're boys.
You could have called me and said that. You could have called me and said, hey, I did an interview. I said this, and this. You know how I feel. I feel like if you ain't won this or if you ain't did this, then you don't get to stand or sit at our table.
Yeah.
I would have been like, well, I don't feel that way, but cool. I'm glad you called me. That's why we boys.
Yeah.
You at least you let me know, gave me a heads up, so I'm not blindsided when I hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it. You know how I heard everybody in the locker room was like, gee, you see what Sapp is saying about you?
Yeah.
Like imagine hearing that from your teammates and they saying, I thought y'all was boys. Why you saying this?
Well, like, then he called out Devin White last year.
Right. That's when I went on TV and called him out for that. I said, you know what y'all don't know about that? Everybody who thinks that this guy is who he says he is, he was in the building that week. He didn't say anything to Devin. He didn't say it until he got to Twitter or he had opportunity to capitalize on keeping his name relevant.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about you guys' favorite player. He said, gee, keep mentioning my name because it keeps me relevant. I said, you're my boy, no problem. This is who he is.
Well, you're doing it
Warren
now.
Sapp, Warren Sapp, I hope you're hearing this. You have my phone number.
I think he listens to the pod.
Soon.
I think
whenever you want to see and talk about this, we can talk about this.
This is great. We should do a round table.
Yeah, let's bring in Sapp.
We should do a round table. Well, no, like we'll come to Tampa and curate the discussion. Because this stuff, let me ask you, if you guys talked it out, could you guys be cool again?
I don't have no problem talking it out. Here's my thing. Like, if you feel a certain way, feel that way. I don't care. You think you're the first person to say that I'm not at the level of other players? That's all an opinion. It's just opinionated. Okay. Yeah. If I get in the Ring of Honor, great. If I don't, okay. Yeah. I know what I accomplished in this game. If I make the Hall, great. If I don't, okay. I know what I accomplished in this game. I blazed my trail in this league. I am stamped. I know that. If you want to gauge the level of what a person was and all, that's all an opinion. I don't care about that. My problem was, it was like if Beau had an issue, Beau would pick up the phone and call me, or he would text me.
Yeah. I've actually been waiting for the opportunity, G. I'd like to say that you're not on my level as a player. Oh,
there we go. Now it finally comes out.
What happens. Now watch what happens. See, here's where I can look at Beau and say, I hate your mustache. I'm
gonna clear out all the tables in the room next time I see you, bro.
Let me ask you this then. I want take the high road for a second and tell me.
This retirement thing is great.
No, keep going. Tell me what made Warren Sapp great. What made you fall in love with his game?
Well, one, the best part about my game is what everybody loved about me, my get off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I watched him get off the ball in a way I had never seen before. You see a lot of big guys, they go make plays. Like, I knew of John Randall, but I knew John Randall before I studied the game of being like this wild, crazy man who played the game a certain way.
Yeah.
I knew Sapp of being that get upfield, go disrupt, like just destroy everything in his way player.
Yeah.
Then once I started learning the game, I started watching how he rushed the passer. And I said, man, that is an art.
Yeah.
And the way he does it, nobody has done it that way.
Yeah.
And that's when I started like, okay, that guy right there, that's the one.
Yeah.
You know, and I still feel that way. Yeah. Like that doesn't change what we got going on, whatever. That doesn't change how I feel about you as a player. I'm a man.
Yeah.
So I'm not going like, if you were my favorite player, that's just what you were. And what you did in this league, 5 first ballot Hall of Fame D tackles, he's one of them. Yeah. Number 6 is still playing right now.
Yeah.
So like,
so with your game, one of my favorite things you did is you got on edges, and I was a swipe guy, because it helped me turn my hips I wasn't the best like pure edge rusher. So I needed good handwork. And when you came in the league, one of the things I saw about you immediately that I respected was your handwork. You were a technician. You definitely worked the chop club. You worked the swipe. What was your process when it came to building a rush plan? Were you predetermining, hey, I'm going to swipe this guy? Or was it, if he doesn't give me his hands, then I'm going to go, if he gives me low hands, I'm going chop? Did you have like a menu? How did you work that out in your head on a regular basis?
Well, it started my rookie year. Sapp taught me to cross chop.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we were really like, he taught me to cross chop.
Yep.
And I would practice it in practice, and I couldn't get it to work. I practiced a cross chop every day my rookie year, all the way till the season was over, every day in practice.
Yeah.
And then Keith Millard showed up, who had the record.
A beast.
Who had the record for D tackle sacks until AD showed up.
Yeah.
He had 18 and a half, and then AD just whatever.
Yeah.
We all know who this guy is.
It's just different.
Yes. He taught me about like biting goals, getting guys going one way, taking them the other way, double slaps, all that different thing. So he used to make me work the cross chop nonstop every day. But then he started teaching me how to set it up different ways.
Yeah.
It wasn't until going into my 3rd year that I took all of Sapp's tape and I went to his 1999 and 2000. 1999, he had 12 and a half sacks. He was Defensive Player of the Year. 2000, he had 16 and a half sacks. He didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, but they took a sack from him. He really was supposed to lead the league in sacks that year.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took those 2 years and I studied them.
Yeah.
Studied them. And I kept watching how he was setting this up. How is he setting this up? And then once I finally started getting it to land, I knew, okay, I can do anything off the setup of a cross chop. I used to call it skating. So if you think about a person ice skating, they go in and out like this.
Yeah.
So when you go in and out, now you make the offensive lineman have to think. Okay. Yeah. So if you step at him, he might stop his feet. He might sit back. But if you're doing like this, you can react to anything. So if he oversets you, if you go out, you can come right back in.
Yeah.
If you go in, you can go right back out. Yep. And that's how I started setting up my cross chop. But then when Joe Cullen showed up in 2014, he really took my game to the next level. And 2014, I didn't have the most sacks I ever had in the season. Yeah. But that was the year that I got to the quarterback more than I ever have in my entire career.
Yeah.
And then I started that's when he taught me how to study the game.
Yeah.
He taught me how to break down opponents. He taught me how to have my fastball, have my changeup. Yeah. He taught me how to set up my power. He taught me square principle, all of that stuff. So it's a lot, but it's really not. Yeah. It's just about your opponent. You stick to the square principle. Get the offensive guard out of that square because they don't want to move.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're rushing on the edge, you got your set line, 4 yards behind the tackles, outside foot.
Yep.
And once you know those principles, you can do anything. Yep. You just got to know who you are. And Joe told me, this is who you are. Just do that. Yep. Don't try and do all these different moves. You don't need them.
Yep. Yeah,
I think you have more power to your game than you get credit for, G. Just with that get off that we all know you have. Everyone wants to overset you, and you power that inside half. You know what I mean, right at the quarterback level. Something that I appreciate about you too. But I got a question. I think just going, you're talking about matchups and how certain rushes align well with certain guys, interior O linemen, what they like.
Mm-hmm.
You've said before the 6 hardest guys you had to go up against, and these are some guys that I agree with you completely. But the guys you had: Trent Williams, Kalichi Assembly, who is an absolute monster. I remember playing him, in I think it was Baltimore one time. We played him, Chris, in 2017, like right before Christmas when we were in Philly in the snow, and he was an absolute just like huge dude. Mm-hmm. Marshall Yanda is another guy in Baltimore. I remember I would try to bull rush him one time because he's a little bit undersized and got absolutely nowhere with it. Like he stoned the shit out of just being like, oh God. Zach Martin, Davin Joseph, and Carl Nix. I feel like a lot of these are like bigger body dudes on the inside. Yeah. Another one that I'd maybe put on that list is like Mike Ayupati. Mm-hmm. Remember that dude?
He was a beast.
I played Mike. Mike was my draft class, so I played Mike a few times. I had Mike figured out.
I played him in. He was in San Fran for a while.
Bo didn't have him figured out. I had him figured out.
Once I had Mike figured out, I didn't put him on the list because I knew what he was good at and what he couldn't do.
Yeah,
and I knew I could capitalize on certain things. So Mike was good, but I didn't put him on that list. All those people on that list, there was a point in time where I was like, hey man, this dude, like, it don't matter what you do, like,
right.
You're
going down your list and you're like, shit, I got nothing in the bag.
Shit, I didn't have to figure out Mike Ayupati. I just had to see him on the counters that they were running in San Francisco.
Exactly,
man. How about Ronde Barber, man? You played with him 1 year, I guess. He's a UVA guy. I'm a big fan of his, and he's finally getting his recognition that I think is long overdue. What was it like kind of watching him work and be the field general down there?
So, first off, all credit to Ronde for what he was to my favorite team and the organization I played most of my years with. Like you said, this is long overdue, but it's here now and is very deserving.
Yeah.
As a young guy, you walk in and kind of know guys, but the Bucs were not like I was the third pick, so obviously they wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So they didn't have a lot of big names or whatever. But Ronde was still there. And you grow up a Bucs fan and you walk in the locker room and Ronde Barber was still there.
Fanboying.
Like, Jesus Christ. And then he had his own office. It was like, what's crazy is Bo, the linebackers room. It was next door to the D-line room. That was Ronde's office.
Oh, really?
That was Ronde's office when he was there. And to watch him prepare, Ronde gave me like a false sense of what the NFL was.
Yeah.
Because Ronde had his own office. During training camp, he had his own trailer that sat outside that he slept in. Like, Ronde basically was like, coach, but he played, and he had so many like allowances where I was like, dang.
He was on that Russell Wilson program from last year.
Listen, I was looking like, man, I got to get there.
Yeah.
Not knowing like, come on, man. Like most people don't get there, to see him prepare the way he did, he wouldn't practice every day, But in meetings, team meetings, player meetings, locker room, on the field, the ultimate professional. And you'll see Ronde move around and you like, dang, about time to hang it up. And then you come out Sunday and it's like, he's still doing this.
That's called Toradol.
Yeah, like, how is he still doing this? And it was his mind, man. He knew everything that was happening. And Ronde being not a bigger guy, Ronde is one of the first people I've seen in the NFL to have a bullish mentality, but be a small guy.
Yeah.
Like he was cussing people out on the field. Like he didn't back down from nobody. And he had this anger he played with, but it was all like controlled aggression. And I think that came from being on that defense he was on. He just carried that mentality over. Yeah. And he did his best to try and like teach us that mentality, but we just didn't have all the necessary pieces to be what he was used to. I mean, he had 2 first ballot Hall of Famers in Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks. He had another Hall of Famer in John Lynch himself. Yeah. Then you had Simeon Rice, who
100
I don't know if he's gonna get in, but
100 plus sacks,
100 plus, 120 plus sack. Like these are the types of people he have on his team. So that's what he's used to. Yeah. So at times he would get frustrated because we had a lot of knuckleheads, but we had talent. Yeah. But just what I learned from him, and the one thing he did for me, which I always give him credit, and I had to just like relish this moment. He personally and publicly handed me the team. When he retired, he said, "This is Gerald's team now." Yeah. And I never took that for granted. And I always like carried that. And that's why I was the way I was with my teammates. Yeah. It's like Ronde Pat, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to say this is nobody's team. Yeah. I wasn't the quarterback, but he said Gerald is the guy now. This is his team. He said this. Yeah. So for me, I got to protect my team. Yeah. So if you disrespect my team, you say this about them, you do this, and that's just how I was. But Ronde really taught me that mentality. And, when he finally got in, I was just like, about time. Yeah. Old man deserves it. Yeah.
How about, you said you had a little talent. There's one guy I wanted to ask you about that I played with who was one of, we were about the same age, and we ended up with on the nose about the same amount of sacks, and we finished our career together. Michael Bennett. Yeah. You had Michael Bennett before he was Michael Bennett, and I used to watch the Bucs tape and say, this guy's going to be real good.
Pre skinny shoulder pads, Michael Bennett, or is that right when he came into those?
He had the skinny shoulder pads in 2012.
Yeah,
he just didn't. It wasn't like as publicized because the Bucs wasn't on TV.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you see from him? What was it like playing with young, crazy ass Mike?
Mike was because you played with Mike a year in Philly.
We played a year in Philly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then against each other every fucking year in Seattle. So
Mike will say and do whatever he feels like.
Whatever.
Like Mike came in a meeting one time. This is like a true story. He came in a meeting one time and said, "Hey, I just want to make an announcement. I'm not listening to no white coaches today." like this was that was the Mike Bennett. He came to practice one day and said, "Hey," he would just make announcements. "Hey, coach, hey, look at my feet. I came out here barefoot, so y'all knew I wasn't practicing today." This is Mike Bennett. Yeah. But what Mike did, Mike was a computer. Yeah. He could download like a whole offense. Yeah. Not practice all week. And some of the things you seen him do in Seattle, he was doing in Tampa, but we had Greg Schiano. Yeah. He wasn't allowing Mike to do all that. So when he got to Seattle, Pete was letting Mike make plays. So we had all the way up until last year with the Raiders, Gus Bradley, he inserted certain defenses and he had certain like calls for the D-line that he took because Mike did it on his own. Yeah. Mike would line, if Mike knew a play was coming, he would literally just move and line up in the gap. Yeah. Because he knew it was coming. Mike did not play within the scheme.
He didn't play defense. Well, guess what? 11, 12 years later, he didn't either.
No, he's not playing within the scheme of the defense because he's thinking, this is stupid. I know where the ball's going. Yeah. This is all they can do for my this. So I'm going to just go over. He would just literally just walk over there.
Yeah.
And Gus put stuff like that into his defensive scheme because Mike would just do it. Yeah. And he said, that do make sense. Yeah. So I'm going to just put that in the defense.
Yeah.
And Mike, as much as he, was a knucklehead, meaning like,
crazy.
He's just a funny guy, just a crazy guy. He loved the game.
Yeah, he does.
But Mike wasn't about to kill himself over the game. Like he would say all the time, like, hey man, I got a wife and kids. I'm not dying for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, he would tell a coach like, hey, you think that I'm a black man in America and I'm about to let this white man kill me and I won't get to see my kids no more? You're not about to kill me. Yeah. I'm not practicing. Yeah. That was Mike. Yeah. But then he'll show up on game day and you get Mike Bennett.
In that high-pitched voice.
In that high-pitched voice. Yeah, I love Mike. Mike is still one of my best friends. Like he's one of those Beau Allens that I have. I don't have a short list, but Mike is on that list.
Yeah, if you call Mike and me and Mike talk on the phone, every few weeks or every month, and I got to clear my schedule because we're going to be on the phone for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean? And he's highly intelligent. Mike is highly intelligent. All he does is read books. Yeah. All he does is read books. Mike is highly intelligent. Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this about the Bucs, man. They pump faked everybody. They thought the creamsicles were coming back because of that video they put out last week, but it turned out it was just the mascot. How did you wear those ugly-ass uniforms for so long and be so productive? Do you think those uniforms were as ugly as I thought they were, especially when y'all switched to those, like, shot clock numbers?
The digital numbers were brutal, man.
And do you think they need to go back to the creamsicles?
No, I hated the creamsicles.
Wow.
Oh.
We never won a game in them.
Well, that could have had something to do with some of the stuff you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like the talent level.
We never won a game in them, and I just feel like optics are everything, and I believe in energy. And the Bucs, when you look at those uniforms, everybody will say like, oh, yeah, they look cool. Yeah. Okay, but what are they associated with? Losing. The Bucs' worst years, or why the Bucs have the lowest winning percentage over a span of all like franchises. Those uniforms were being worn.
Yeah.
When Warren Sapp and the Derrick Brookses of the world drafted, they wore those for one season. Yeah. And then they switched over to the red and pewter.
Yeah, you might be. I mean, you make a good point. I'm just a look good, feel good, play good guy, Yeah.
And I mean, it's fine. Like, first time we wore them, I was like, oh, this is icy. Yeah. And then we lost. And then we wore them again. And then we lost. And then we wore them again. Played good, but we lost. I was like, man, don't put these on no more.
Too much bad juju, man.
Yeah, it's like, don't wear these no more. So, I mean, if they bring them back, cool. But it's just me.
I want to ask you.
The history of the franchise, that uniform's associated with losing.
Yeah,
it just is.
It is. It is. They're up there with the Saints as far as like having the Saints had the brown paper bag, the fans with the bags over their heads. The Bucs were terrible. But one thing before I asked you about Carolina was I thought it was one of the coolest things I ever heard about like a teammate doing something for another teammate or a group of teammates doing something for another teammate. When you were in Carolina, from what I understand, your son had a football game. Maybe it was senior night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
he was going to play San Fran. Yep.
Yeah. And you couldn't go obviously because of the job. And tell the people what happened.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was easy for me to get home. Yeah. So if my son played on a Friday, I would tell coach like, hey, I'm going to fly home. My son got a game. I'll be back. Cool. I was a vet at this point, 10 years in. It's like, man, you a pro, you'll be back. It was senior night and we played San Fran. Yeah. You guys know, which a lot of fans might not know, if you're on the East Coast or usually like not West, you fly on Friday instead of Saturday. Yeah. So because we were traveling, I couldn't go to the game.
Right.
But Donovan Smith, Levante David, Jameis Winston, and Mike Evans all went and stood in place for me to walk on the field with my son for senior night. Yeah. And my wife did not tell me that this was taking place. She just sent me a picture of it.
Jeez.
And I'm sitting here like on the plane. I'm glad it was like the lights was out. Everybody was sleeping because I'm like, sitting in my seat, just crying, just like, I know everybody will be like, is this dude scared to fly? Like, what the heck? But that meant a lot to me. And I think it's just a testament of like how I looked at my teammates as my brothers, and we just supported each other. And that's just how it was, man. And those guys forever are family to me, and that meant a lot. Meant a lot to him. And everybody, to his teammates and everybody in stands is like, man, how the heck do he get to? And they had security. So, and I know it was blowing everybody's mind because security, they walk with them and nobody else can come over here. They coming for this and then they gonna leave. Yeah. They didn't come here to sign autographs and do all these pictures and stuff. So I know it was like, how did he get access to them? Yeah. But
yeah, that's amazing, man. I'll never forget hearing that. When you went to Carolina, man, I heard a story that you had bought your number and it was $250K. Was that true?
Yeah, it was.
What goes into for people at home? And that's a big price tag.
That's a huge price tag.
Well, sometimes they just give your number away, G,
Yeah. Sometimes you have to pay for nothing. Yeah. I wasn't going to pay it. I wasn't going to pay it at all. And I was like, sure, I'm going to just have to switch over. But, what's crazy? This is go. The person who convinced me to pay it was my wife. She said, just pay it. I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. Like, I have to go make this back. Yeah. But she was like, listen, from the time you step foot at OU, you've worn this number. All of the optics of everything you'll do, any pictures you'll have, this is what people know you by. Your family, your kids, you're going to remember every jersey you have. If you have this number from the time you get to OU all the way until you retire, that's going to mean something to you. Yeah. And I was like, if the wife says it's okay, I'm going to just pay it. No question. And it was just like, I had my signing bonus and stuff. And when you make a certain level of money, that is a lot. Yeah. It's like, I'm about to make this right back. So
yeah, exactly. Who was it that got the bag?
Kyle Love.
Oh, okay, cool. He's fucking still living off that.
It actually makes sense though, G, because then you don't need to buy a whole new chain with a new number, and
that's true. Like that. It actually pays for itself in that way. That's a good way to justify it. Yeah. So Kuechly's there, right?
Yes.
Cam Newton's there.
Yes.
Starting with Cam Newton, because you said, I want to make this decision based on a proven commodity quarterback. I know that, the injuries, the attrition, the mileage wore on Cam, and that was maybe one of the first years, if not the first year, that it just started being really evident that maybe it was time to move on. What was it like playing with Cam after playing against him for so many years? And then how did he handle that whole process?
Yeah, I say 2017.
So they killed us in 2018. Yes. I'm trying to think I think that's when they did those double reverses that beat us 42-28.
Okay, it was 2018.
And then he did the Peyton Manning, the reverse rollout of the goal line.
Reverse rollout. Yep. Okay, perfect. Exactly. I'm glad you said that.
Computer bow.
And then we beat them again 24-17 later in the season.
So what happened was they did that. Remember that Thursday they played Pittsburgh. And they started the game the same way. Chris McCaffrey took that long. It was like a swing route. He took it to the crib. And it's like, man, Carolina's on the roll again. Yeah. Remember he went to throw that pass and Messi showed up? Yep. That's when, from that point on, Cam was never the same. Yeah. Remember, even when we played them at home, he didn't even finish the game.
Yeah, he threw like 2 or 3 picks or something like that. Yeah, we're like, God damn, I thought Jameis was on our team, man.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, remember Double A, that game they called him Triple A because he had 2 picks?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. He was never the same. Yeah. So, fast forward to 2019, he had surgery. He's feeling great. And Cam is a phenomenal teammate. Yeah. Like everybody who's wondering why people love him so much.
He is. I was with him for 1 year in New England. I say the exact same thing, G. Yeah. He's not a great teammate. Guy. Great teammate. Great guy. I ate lunch with him like every day, man. I was on IR. Yeah, sorry to steer thunder, but great fucking teammate.
No, I'm glad you can stamp this because when I tell people this, they like, really? I'm like, listen, stop letting the media tell y'all who people are. Yeah. Listen to the guys that are in the locker room with these people. Yeah. Cam is a phenomenal teammate. He's a great dude. Cam used to when he's in Carolina, he would have a meal here and there for the team. Cam was just a great guy. Always motivation. They had like this little basketball. We used to play like pig in the locker room. He would organize the tournament and all that. Cam was a great guy. What happened with Cam is that people forget is that year he broke his foot in preseason against New England. Remember, he was supposed to be out for a couple weeks. He decided to play anyway. He played. We had the Rams opening day. He did okay. Where you really seen Cam struggling is, Bo, when we played y'all Thursday Night Football, second week of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Yeah. He tried to turn the corner. All we needed was that first down. Yep. And we could kick the field goal and win the game. It was fourth down. Mm-hmm. He tries to turn the corner. He can't get around Vernon Hargreaves. Let's be honest. Yeah. Cam Newton, Vernon Hargreaves, who you taking in a one-on-one?
Run him over, man.
He couldn't get past Vernon Hargreaves. Yeah. That's when everybody knew, okay, his foot is really his foot is messed up. Yeah. And he didn't play the rest of that season. And he kind of went through what I went through in Tampa. He felt slighted. He felt like the Panthers didn't protect him. He felt like everything he had done, they didn't treat him like he felt necessary. And he took it hard, man. Like he took that hard. And, I don't think he had any hard feelings towards Carolina, which, as we seen, he went back. Yeah. But yeah, he didn't take that too well, because like internally you could see like it was kind of like all right, we good. Let's move on. Yeah. And it was like, that's not how you do this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kuechly, that was the year he had the concussions, right? I mean, that was, he had
already had the, the little neck, they put the thing around your neck to keep the blood up top. So that year, Luke played every game. Yeah. I think 2018 and 17 is when the concussions were really bad.
Yeah. So that was his last year, the year you played with him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it shocking to the guys when he hung it up?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was shocking because we knew he had so much left. Yeah. But it wasn't shocking because we knew like the extensiveness of those concussions. So when he hung it up, we like, if you played with him or was in the locker room with him, you knew like that's probably smart.
Yeah, I was happy he made that decision, because I mean he had done everything he could possibly do on the field. It's like you got to start thinking about your family. I want to finish with a couple fun things here, man. Well, it depends on your answer, I think, but you're an NBA fan. We like the NBA. Yes. Paul George made news last week. He said something to the effect of that he thinks basketball players would make the transition way better than football. I do not disagree with him. I think basketball players on its head in this argument, because of the skill level necessary, and probably somebody like a Westbrook or Dame Lillard could probably play some defensive back position. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see PJ Tucker try to play football too. I think he's got a football mindset.
There's a guy down in New Orleans that I think all of us would agree probably could play defense.
Zion?
Yes.
Well, here's the problem, and there's a dynamite. There's a dynamite lead in to my point, which is that I think for one day they could show up and they'd have enough. But like you're talking about the league that's got load management, man. You couldn't get through a training camp. I saw Cam Jordan be like, "Dude, like you really think you're gonna get through one of Sean Payton's training camps?" I think the contact, the physicality, and the mindset, the mentality would be the biggest barrier to those guys continuing to play. Now, there might be an NFL player out there who's got enough game that maybe he could have done something else. But I agree with him with that one big asterisk. How did you guys feel, G, especially you, when you saw that quote?
I actually answered this Friday on the Carton show. Yeah. That was one of our topics. Yeah. And Carton believed that, which let me know, I don't know what he knows, feel like he know about football. He said you could take a dynamic cornerback and he could go play in the NBA. I'm like, no, because a big cornerback in the league is 6'1", 6'2".
Exactly.
Steph is 6'3". Yeah. You're not going to the NBA and doing nothing. Yeah. Like, relax. Yeah. But I agree that if you have to pick who could go where, they could come to our sport before we could go to theirs. Yes. But could they be successful?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand what training camp is, man. Like when you sit, and I sat with the Raiders because I did an acclimation period because I was coming off a knee injury. So I would just do individual, do a little pass rush period every now and then, but for the most part, I didn't practice until the final week of preseason. I played in the final preseason game, and then that's what it was. So I sat and really watched 907, and watched pods.
That's what gets you, watching it.
And I really just sat and watched it. Yeah. I said, man, there's no way that we're doing this every single day. Mm-hmm. Every day. Mm-hmm. And in Tampa, the horn blew at 8:30. Mm-hmm. In Vegas, the horn blew at 8 a.m. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me at 8 a.m., grown men are running out here and just and the thing is, we're not just hitting each other. You're really playing with technique. Yeah. Get your foot in the ground. Hand placement. Don't get reached. Mm-hmm. Don't get pushed out. Don't do this. And individual, a true D-line individual where you really rolling through. And then they all right, jog over. We got pods.
Sprint.
Oh, man.
That run from individual from pods, bro.
And they always put the D-line in the fucking corner of the 5 field. So we got to run the furthest.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We run the furthest, do pods, and they 907. It's bro, y'all didn't do 907. We just did. Yeah. So
the O-line is always over there just waiting on you, and you're jogging from 300 yards away.
Yeah, LeBron's going to catch one ball.
That's
and fucking Buda Baker's going to take his knees out. Yeah. And it's just going to be all right.
They wouldn't survive, but I feel like they could transition better than we could because if you've ever sat close enough, you ain't got to be courtside, but close enough at an NBA game to where you can see how fast that game is really moving. Us, when we go to training camp or we play an NFL game, to us, it's moving like this. Mm-hmm. If you're standing on the sideline and you are not part of the game or have played in a game, it's doing this.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening, and then boom, Patrick Mahomes threw a touchdown. It's what the heck just happened?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So if we tried to get out there in an NBA game with them knowing, okay, this pick is coming, this is how he moved, this is this, and try and get it open in the NBA is this. As long as you see the goal, it's open. Right. To us, it's move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I believe they could transition over to us before we could go over there. Now, surviving, I don't know.
So this is a perfect situation because you're an OU guy. I said last week on the pod, I think this Austin Reeves guy is great, Austin Reeves from the Lakers. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm wondering, I asked my co-host, how many points do you think he'd score on me if they knew that I was on the floor and they just fed him the ball in hopes that he would get as many shots as he could. No help. Well, normal amount of NBA help, okay? And my boy said 90 points. I think that's bullshit. I think I'm holding him to 38. What say you, Gerald?
65.
Can I read you what JJ Redick said to me? This is actually pretty funny. Because I had to text JJ because he's real smart and he knows this stuff, and he's a white guard in the NBA. Now I'm holding JJ to probably 28. But here's what he said. I said, if they gave me a Toradol shot and I had to guard Austin Reeves for 48 minutes, how many points would he be able to score on me? JJ said 48. Did you say 48?
Said 65.
Okay. I said, fuck no. He said, bruh. I said, no, I believe you. How about Larry Nance Jr.? And he said he'd probably get 27 to 29 on you. So I don't know. Maybe.
These guys are so skilled, man. I've watched NBA warm-ups, and only a few people miss shots in warm-ups.
Yeah.
These guys are
yeah.
And then if you watch, I watched the USA tryouts.
Yeah.
And they bring all the guys. Everybody don't make the team, but they go practice and they do the king of the court.
Yeah.
If you see the skill on these guys, man, we not guarding them.
No, you're right. I just thought, Austin Reeves, in the spirit of Michael Bennett, I'd like to say I'm not letting any white guys score over 30 on me today. But Austin Reeves.
He's easily getting 50.
Okay. He is him, Chris. Didn't you see that?
He is him. He said he's him. He said he's him. Okay, last thing here. You're a Batman guy. Mm-hmm. Okay? I want you to rank the Batman villains, your favorite Batman villains, Let's go 1 through 5. You got no particular order here. Joker, Riddler, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and Two-Face.
Or go off the board if you want.
Or just like as a character as a whole?
As a character.
Joker, Riddler, Penguin, Two-Face, and who else? Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. Let's kick ice.
Joker's obviously number one. You could argue Joker's the greatest villain of any genre ever. Ooh. So he's obviously number one.
Okay, which actor played Joker the best? Are you a Heath Ledger guy?
See, I'm torn because I grew up on the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger gave us a version that we never thought about the Joker being, which is like, if you look at the Jack Nicholson version, it's like, that's clearly a movie.
Yes.
Heath Ledger could be anybody.
Yes.
Or Joaquin Phoenix even too.
Like anybody. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they could be anybody.
Yeah.
But then Mark Hamill, like the animated Joker, like that voice and how long he's played that character, I always put him in the mix.
Okay, so Joker's one.
Heath Ledger is like,
Joker's one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after that, I got Penguin. I love the Penguin. I don't know
Penguin's
why.
Two for me.
Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger, an all-time classic performance.
Bo. Listen, man, I hope you stub your toe on that desk.
An all-time great
That is the worst. Like, they picked Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze and George Clooney as Batman. George Clooney?
So I get
the heck out of here.
It's Tim Burton, man. What do you expect?
So I guess George Clooney's not your favorite Batman ever.
No. So I got Penguin 2. I'm going to go Riddler 3. Mr. Freeze 4 and Two-Face is 5.
Oh wow, little upset there at the end. Okay, which actor played the Batman the best? I'm a Michael Keaton guy for the same reason.
Michael Keaton is to me far and above everybody else.
Okay, that's great. That's great. He's got good taste.
My take on Batman is, I believe people have to separate Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
They're two different, because his persona as Bruce Wayne is not his persona as Batman.
Yeah.
Like Twilight, I felt like he was a phenomenal Batman. He's horrible Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like hair flips and all the gothic acting and all that. I hated him. The new Batman, I loved the movie, but I hated his Bruce Wayne.
That's so interesting.
I thought Michael Keaton for sure is one. I actually like Batfleck more than most people like.
Oh, interesting. That's a hot take here. But you would know. I mean, you're the resident expert on Batman now.
But the thing is, here's where I tell people, man, in The Dark Knight, Christian Bale, he was not a good Batman. The movies were good. Wow. Think about it. We never made fun of Batman like jokes until he did this stupid voice. That was and it was his idea. That was the dumbest thing ever. Like, that voice was stupid.
Where's Rachel?
Rachel! That's stupid. Like, that was stupid. Like, his fighting style sucked. His fighting style was horrible. Batman.
Those were some of the best movies, though, G.
What did you just say?
Best movies, yeah, exactly.
I just said the movies were phenomenal.
Yeah.
The movies were phenomenal. It's not about the movie. Think about it. In the first one, in Batman Begins, the fight scenes were all flashes.
Yeah.
You never seen him fight. They were just flashes of fighting scenes.
Yeah.
The second one, they actually showed the fighting scenes, and he was real like Batman is a ninja.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's a ninja. Why is he fighting so stiff?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he got whooped all of he got whooped the whole movie of the third one. Like, he really he just wasn't a good Batman. Like, I think he was bad, but like, for people who put Christian Bale up here, I'm like, nah.
All right.
He was a great Bruce Wayne, but not a great.
You're gonna get some arguments from people. This is good.
I always do.
Okay, so Gerald's been great. We just got an ESPN alert that Jalen Hurts signed a $255 million extension.
Oh wow.
179 guaranteed, 5 years with no trade clause. I love Jalen Hurts, highest player in NFL history. Highest paid player in NFL history. It begs the question, and I'll let you guys both answer this, and then we're going to wrap this up. Who is the hardest quarterback you ever had to tackle? Toughest when you got your hands around him to get him down? Maybe it had to do with a little bit of athleticism, how hard it was to get there, but who stood out to you?
Bo?
Ooh, I mean, we talked about Cam a little bit earlier. I remember when we were in Tampa, we were playing Cam. I came around on a TE, had a nice win, and Cam was standing in the pocket, and I was on his backside, and I hit him right in the square of the back. And I thought I cleaned him good, and he went down so slowly, man. I got up, I was seeing stars. I was fucked up from that.
He broke my rib.
He was so hard to take down, man. And from 2010 to 2018 or whatever it was, when he had that stretch, he was really Superman out there, man. He was always hard. And then I always had a hard time with Russell too, just because he was super mobile in Seattle, and you never really knew where he was going to be in the pocket. That deep back shoulder roll
for a tackle, that's really hard. For an end,
it's just
for an end, in space. Sacking Russell's great because he's gonna bail out the back.
Exactly.
So here's how I feel. A lot of people bring up Russell Wilson, like Bo did. For Russell Wilson, if you beat your guard clean, Russell Wilson is not very hard to sack. He's little.
What are you trying to say about me, G? You're not getting clean wins over here?
He ducks. He ducks and falls down too.
He goes down easy. I mean, the elusiveness, he actually can make you miss, but if you get to him, he's going down.
Yeah.
So I never put him on the hardest quarterback to hit on the ground list. Cam undoubtedly is number one. Yeah. The reason I say Cam is undoubtedly number one is because he can move like Lamar Jackson, but he can stand there like Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger is my number two.
Yep.
I tried to sack Ben Roethlisberger. I did sack him, but they had to blow them sacks you
blow the whistle.
Hold them up, they blow the whistle. Yep. I was like little giants. I was like, blow. I'm trying to, and my hand was broke. I had a club on. So I hit him, and he's just like going side to side. I'm like, please. I said, ref, blow the whistle. Ben Roethlisberger, I don't think if you ever tried to hit Ben, that is a tough guy to get on the ground. But Cam, for sure. Now, I don't know about Josh Allen. I've never played. We scrimmaged against him. We played him in preseason, but that's not really playing him. But Cam, because he was so elusive, he did that backdoor spin out. Cam is the first person I ever seen do that. I seen Russell Wilson do it, so I was prepared for it because I had to play Cam twice a year. But Cam for sure, because he's strong, he was fast, he was elusive. Cam Newton for sure.
I'll give you guys a wild card, and I've done this on this show before, but I don't know if you remember Tavares Jackson. I just wanted to shout him out. God rest his soul, but that guy was impossible to tackle. It was like he was made of fucking concrete. Now, he wasn't the best quarterback of all time and not the fastest, but when you said you told them to blow the fucking whistle, I remember sliding down Tavares Jackson's leg like a stripper on a pole. The whistle was blown, and I'm on the ground just holding his ankle, and he's getting ready to throw a pass. It's been 5 seconds. That guy deserves a lot of recognition for being an absolute unit in the pocket. I'd put Russell on the list, but just because you never knew where his set point was, okay.
Right. Yep.
Cam, obviously, I told you he broke my rib. I hit him square in the back, just like you, Bo, and Gator rolled him around. Not the dirty Gator roll that people are complaining about, but he landed on me and broke my rib. I never got to play Lamar. I never got to play Josh. I would imagine if I played today, I would have the hardest time sacking Josh Allen. I just feel like he's bigger than me. When you walk up to a quarterback and he's bigger than you, he's faster than you, you're looking up at him. Man, I don't want that. I don't want those problems. Yeah.
Donovan McNabb wasn't easy to get on the ground either.
He was tough.
Donovan McNabb was, I was contemplating whether I should bring this up because there's so many jokes that can come from this.
Deshaun Watson?
Yes. Okay.
You just gotta rub his shoulders.
He's like,
he's slippery, man.
Let's close it out, man. He's surprisingly strong. I don't know how he has so much strength left, but he's stronger than you think.
Okay, there you go. Yes. There you go. That's a good way to end it. Gerald McCoy, newly retired, truly one of the best I ever saw do it. Amazing technician, awesome guy, and a Bucs legend. I don't care what anybody says, man. So I appreciate you, man.
Before you finish, you know what happened one time? I always respected you because you kept it 100. Chris said, hey, listen, best D tackle I've seen in my time of playing was Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Donald showed up. I was like,
yeah.
This was like 2 years in. AD showed up and he was like, I think next to Gerald, I've never seen nobody like this. And he was playing with him.
Yeah.
This was rookie year.
Yeah.
Second year, when he took off, he was like, yeah, it's him.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
I'll always
look, as a competitor, you sitting there like, he had a good breakout year.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then the next year, he only had 8 sacks. So I'm like, I knew it. He's good. He can get there. And then he got 20. I was like, oh my.
But you were complimented. So there you go.
Yes,
you know?
I was, but it was so funny because he was like, yeah. And then this guy showed up. And then I'm like,
I remember Cortland Finnegan did me like that. Cortland Finnegan was like, man, I used to think you were a great D lineman. I said, maybe one of the best I play with. Then that Robert Quinn showed up, and I don't even I'm like, you know what? That's fair as fuck, though.
To me, it's just me. And then we could be done. I'm biased to my generation and my time. I think he's the best ever.
Yeah. I agree.
Ever.
I agree.
I just think he's the best D shoes. You can argue he's the best D lineman ever, but
I agree.
D tackle for sure.
I agree. Respect to Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And respect to Gerald McCoy. We hope you come back, bro. We got now that you're in the business, you got to come rap with us, man.
Sure, be back.
We got to broker a peace deal with you and Sapp.
Yeah, we'll set that up. So.
And I got a couple other stories I want to get you on the air about too.
Good. We'll get him back.
Listen, I'm retired now, so I'm gonna say everything I feel like. I don't care.
We fucking love it. We fucking love it. All right, brother.
The stuff I would say, I ain't gonna lose no jobs over it. People might call me and be like, "Man, when I see you,
Well, they have your number. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
All right, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, G. Congratulations
pleasure,
on retirement, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, much respect. See you, buddy. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.